Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Go Deep with Kat and Sarah. This week we have an interesting topic to explore with you: helpful versus transformational coaching. What's the difference?
Yeah. Well, Dr. Sarah Joy, I think it's important to talk about it since we are calling ourselves transformative coaches. And I don't think we've ever explored or explained or shared how we see that. And I think that in general, people would like to know or not,
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me what do you see as a difference?
Well, you talked about helpful is where the coach or expert looks to solve the problem for the person, or I think maybe goes to their experience and says, hey, how about this? How about that? Or even helpful can be if a person or coach is asking helpful questions. Like a lot of coaches will ask questions to where the person kind of goes back to their own past experience and oh yeah, the last time I did that, this worked out this way, or the last time I did this, it went like that. Transformative coaching, we're looking to go to show someone where we're looking, which I'm kind of laughing right now because I'm trying to find words for it, but to someone who doesn't know what that means, it may sound very vague. Look where they're looking, huh? And it's more in our beingness as humans and learning how we're equipped, how we're designed to function, I guess. Yeah, how we're designed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I went all over the place a little bit, but what does that bring up for you, Kathleen?
Yeah, well, no, I would want to ask you more. So what happens when you direct someone to look in a different direction like that? Then does that result in transformation? Is that where and how transformation happens?
I feel like that's a slightly different question.
Okay. Well, don't answer it if you don't want to.
Than what we were talking about, but that's
Okay. No, okay. Bring us back. Bring us back to where we're going. What is the difference between transformative and helpful? Say it another way. Say what you or something else that comes to mind. Because I didn't follow you entirely.
Oh, I'm laughing because I know. I'm aware of that.
And then I didn't ask a good question.
No, it's a good question. People transform when they know who they are and they look to their own selves.
That's what first occurred to me, looking to themselves, when we decided that this would be something that we would talk about. The first thing that occurred to me that was that in a helpful engagement, coaching session, or with a friend, or whatever it is, a conversation, and in this case, coach and coachee, right? The coach is kind of the one doing the helping. They're providing an outcome, or even showing someone, oh, hey, look at this from a different perspective. The coach is offering the helpfulness. It isn't coming from inside of the person being coached. So the outcome can be something changes for that person, and there's an outcome that can be really good. But it's almost like, what's coming to mind, like, give a man a fish, give a woman a fish, and she eats for a day, teach her to fish, and she feeds herself for a lifetime. That's kind of the difference. Like, transformative has that essence to it of the person being coached owns it. They're the ones that transformation means that everything's the same, but things look different, right? I mean, that can be one explanation. But, and I feel like I'm going all over the place here too. So cut me off if you need to.
I think you're making sense.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you hear in that? I'll stop.
I'm almost seeing that there's 2 or more levels of, I don't want to say levels because I don't, let's make up some levels. Because I've experienced where lots of clients will go to their own intuition and they come up with their own solutions for things, but they don't really know how amazing they are. And they don't really know that life happens from the inside out. And so stuff isn't coming at you, even though sometimes it feels like it does.
Here's what I hear in that. Here's what I hear. And I hear what makes sense to me is this deeper level. Can't help but big levels. In other words, intuition, something that comes to them. But that insight could be from the past, or from the known, or from experiences that they've had. And there is another type of insight that comes entirely from the unknown, something they've never seen before, something from the deeper intelligence, or from universal intelligence. Now we're having a spiritual conversation. So I think the deepest transformation is when insight and realization for that person on their own, but can be, as the coach, you can be walking with them, but they're the ones experiencing the transformative event. And so I like what I don't know, what I was hearing and what you were saying is that intuition or intellect or knowledge can bring a personal insight that can result in transformative. Though I think, like, we actually change because we see who we truly are on a deeper level, or on a new level, or in a new way. And then the world changes when we see who we are clearer. Everything changes.
Yeah, that everything changes. Yeah, where I was pointing or seeing is people often will genuinely go to their own wisdom, but they think that life happens to them, and that a way to cope with life happening to them is to go and get intuition. and how that might happen. It can be a variety of ways. Maybe you meditate harder or something. I just kind of pulled that one out. Or maybe you talk to your coach and they ask you clever questions, and that's very helpful. However, I've seen where the biggest transformation happens when people know that they are the source of their life.
Yep.
And the absolute, like the word the word sheer is coming to mind. Like it's sheer, I don't know the next word. Like it's stunning. Or like I'm at a bit of a loss for words to describe how incredible we are as humans.
Yeah.
It's like we're generating the whole show.
Yeah.
And then we think we have to cope with it, maybe by getting some wisdom. And that'll tell us what to do next.
I just had a coaching session, and I can keep it general enough. Although if I had an opportunity, I know this woman well enough that she would say share. But she experienced a situation where it was clear to her that she said 10 or 15 years ago, she would have had a different experience. I happen to know that 6 months ago, she would have had a different experience. So the circumstance, she would still describe it as challenging and difficult in that, people were getting their feelings hurt. But she had an entirely different experience of something that she has been a part of, this dynamic, right, for a while. And she saw that, she said to me, she said, I was just so calm. I didn't like what was happening. I, my humanness wanted it to be different, didn't want the people involved to have their feelings hurt. And yet I remained calm. And that calmness permeated to everyone around me. And that to me was a perfect example of, she sees, and she brought up the blue sky metaphor that I use. She said, oh, this one person that was causing all the trouble, like, is this black cloud. She said, but there's a cloud in the sky, and there's still a blue sky happening all the time. And we're all that. I am that. And that's because I said, well, how, what was that calmness all about? And she said, because I am peace. I am calm. And so the exact same circumstance that had been really, she thought, the cause of getting her riled up and the whole family getting riled up, like, for her now, no longer had, she sees that it isn't the outside in causing her experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And that goes with her forever. Like, because boy, we had a lot of conversations about this situation that was going on, for many, many, many weeks.
Mm.
And it hasn't changed. The situation has not changed. Everyone hopes it will. I hope it will. But if it does, or if it doesn't, her ability to be, and to experience calm and peace in the midst of it is, oh my gosh, her face was glowing. Even though,
Yeah.
there's a situation where people's feelings are being heard and things are being done that she wishes were different.
Yeah, the being. You said she's being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And helpful, yeah, right? So as an example of helpful is someone would come to us with, oh, there's this dynamic, it would be like we'd be having a discussion about strategies or what could be done, or how could you meditate yourself into a, how can you manage the stress that this is having an effect on your body, or even, a more helpful coach. Well, what do you think would be right? Asking them these questions
How you could,
versus her getting a glimpse of who she really is. I think that's a pretty good example of helpful versus transformative.
Yeah. Word beings coming to mind again. I feel like all we need to do is just be. Yeah. Like she was being the peace and the calm that she is. And yeah, and you said it radiated outwards.
And, also, I want to say, I don't think helpful is a bad thing. There are times when helpful is.
It's helpful. Is what it is.
The person is just fell off the boat, and it'd be a good idea if you threw them the life preserver, right? Like, help, they're in the water, help. Oh, let me teach you how to, do the crawl stroke. No, I need help.
Well, there's so many things, especially nowadays, that are helpful, which is great. Like YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of YouTube that I wouldn't consider to be helpful at all, but
I was thinking when I was a kid, if you wanted to know information, you had to go, we had an Encyclopedia Britannica at home, and we would go look it up, and we would look things up in books. And nowadays, if you want to, I don't know, if you want to know how to eat to have more energy, you can just, and all kinds of stuff comes up. If you want to know how to stretch something or whatever, and it's very helpful. Siri is very helpful. So is Google. That's not why people hire coaches.
and I just, I had the thought that, well, we have the internet, we have the World Wide Web, and we have universal intelligence. Like, we have access to answers like well beyond YouTube and Google.
Oh yeah. That could be a whole topic on itself.
It could be. But don't we grab our computer and go to the internet first instead of realizing that even some of those answers, we have access to real big time wisdom and an intelligence that can show something innovative, something creative, something that never has been thought of before, something that isn't out there on the internet yet. Ooh, I think we're going in a whole new direction here.
The inner internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on what it is, what transformation is?
Not at the moment. I think that is something that really we could explore with a whole lot more, fun, playfulness, and depth in, really what is transformation. But I think we got a good start.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of encapsulated it. You were talking about everything changes, person realizes, like it becomes real for a person who they are.
Yeah.
The fullness of that.
Yeah.
And then the whole life is entirely different.
I think so. That's the way it's happened to me.
We could talk more on who people are.
All right.
We
Sounds
say, I've said that phrase, oh, when people know who they are. I
Right.
almost see people kind of going, well, who am I? What am
All right. That sounds like
I?
podcast. Next one, whatever number we're on.
I wish I knew what number we were on. Number 723. I made that
We'll
up.
make that up.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. Hope we were helpful and transformative today. Bye, everyone.
Bye.